The biases which your brochure refers, they appear to be ingrained in our psyche. And that bias, that there is a difference between men and women, I think is the root cause of all our problems, while men have 32. So it is 2,500 years ago, the learned, enlightened man like Aristotle writing this. If we move forward, then you find certain literature which says that the women became the cause of fall of Adam. Hence, the root cause of all evil. It's generated a whole set of religious doctrines, philosophical dispensation, and resultant socio-economic conditions. It takes another form based on the control and the power exercised by the strong, physical strong, which leads to the constitution and then evolution of the patriarchal society. If a surgeon dissects this, you will find only one thing, that is the power relationship. Few centuries down the line, we start witch hunting. We burn women at stake. On one pretext, on the other, that too sometime in the name of the God who created both. This is the historical background, this is the philosophical background from which the modern society evolved. It took us almost 8,000 years to humanity to come to a semblance of justice, that too especially in the highest possible form in the last 50 years. It's a very long struggle of humanity, and definitely this crusade, if you allow me to use this word, was normally led by the women, because they were at the receiving end and they had to fight, and they are fighting well. In Pakistan, we had tried to, last 20, 30 years, to change this mindset, to have a bit humane paradigm, to enshrine the doctrine of equality of the genders. Starting with 1973 Constitution, we wrote that there shall be no discrimination, equality, freedom of choice. It was alien concept then and development. But as you all know, that laws do not matter much. These are the social values which controls human society. It is the psyche, it is the mental paradigm which generates social relations. But we cannot ignore the law. That was the good norm we made in 1973. Coupled with all the feminist movement, women rights movement, which you have heard, we come, in the recent past, we have introduced certain very, very important legislations. And I am proud to announce that most of them were either piloted by women, or championed by the women, or motivated by women, leadership. And you can find most of them sitting here. One example is Madam Shasta Parvez Malik, and I would be referring few laws now, which we have recently done, and she was in the front leadership in it. You know, in Pakistan, we have the concept, unfortunately, of the honor killing. Though human rights are human rights, They are inalienable. They are not based on the gender, though there might be some role differentiation. But still, unfortunately, certain sections of society attribute honor to the women, dishonor to the women. We are fighting with this menace since many years, and it has many phases in our legal struggle. And we think that now we have achieved a legal regime, we have introduced a legal regime which so far we think it is almost perfect. But we cannot say because it's all human society, it's evolving. In Pakistan, we have two sets of legal systems. One is the common law, other the Muslim jurisprudence. Sometimes we mix and we make hybrid laws. When there was a common law, when the issue of honor came, the witnesses were resiled and the accused will be scot-free. Or there will be defense of grave and sudden provocation available. A man will say, I killed her because I was provoked grievously. And it is a valid defense under English legal system. Even now, in England, if a husband kills a wife, and sometimes Pakistanis do there, he cannot have a sentence more than 5-7 years based on this doctrine. We started changing it in 1980, but another issue was introduced under the Muslim jurisprudence. That was the doctrine of waiver and compoundability. As the Muslim jurisprudence allows compoundability and waiver, so it compounded the problem. We done away with the doctrine of grave and sudden provocation, but we were caught in the doctrine of waiver and the compoundability. Waiver means to forgive, and compoundability means you can get some money or something else, and unfortunately in some areas we have a money and savara exchange of women. Every case of a honor killing will have mandatory life imprisonment. Only one concession we made, it is death penalty, but still life imprisonment is mandatory. We have changed the procedure of all laws, and we are sure that it will work. And if it does not work, we will further strengthen it. Let me mention two ladies who are in the forefront of this legislation. Madam Shasta Parvez and Ms. Sughra Imam, and we were two men with them, one standing before this august audience, other my law minister Zaid Hamid. And we had been arguing, debating, and negotiating with various different legislative groups of various ideological dispensations, and we are very happy to announce that we reached consensus on this bill from the right to left, from the extreme religious groups to the most liberal. Second important piece of legislation which we introduced recently, a few months back, was to plug holes in the law relating to the rape. I can't give you more detail due to the paucity of time yet. We have introduced mandatory DNA. We have introduced provisions for the protection of the identity of the women. We have introduced provisions for the mandatory free legal assistance. We have introduced various new criminal penalties for the public servants, the doctors, even the prosecutors, if they do not prosecute or investigate the offenses relating to the rape. It's a very, very progressive law, procedural as well as substantive. And this law, which now Pakistan has, I think it is one of the most progressive and developed law all over the world. Thirdly, in 2010 and onward, the Pakistan has introduced the concept of women ombudsman, dealing with the harassment of the workplace. And we have seen the occupants of the chair and that ombudsman working very, very boldly, without any fear and favor, and it has helped towards improving work environment, which is very, very important for the economic development of the women. Pakistan has also established Human Rights Commission, an independent commission. Out of 4 members, 5 members, we have 2 women, very seasoned, learned women, and the commission is also working independently out of the government. And mostly it is critical of the government, so it is also a positive sign that we are introducing independent institutions. I have introduced a new bill in the Parliament as for the establishment of the National Commission on the Rights of the Child. We had been committing to the CRC committee in Geneva, but now it is reality. We have changed the laws regarding the age criminal culpability. The laws regarding inheritance have been fundamentally changed. Now it is mandatory on the public servants to mutate all property as per the Islamic law, and if a woman is denied the right of inheritance, all the perpetrators, may be parents, maybe brother, sister, maybe a civil servant, has to now be penalized. The laws regarding asset throwing have been strengthened, and a lot of water has flown down. I can see Dr. Atiya, I myself was assisting her, I think 10, 15 years ago when this movement was started. The government of Pakistan and Nawaz Sharif, we have developed a 3 years very ambitious plan for human rights with fixed deadlines, with lot of resource allocation to improve the situation. So on and so forth. We are in the process of introducing legislation which can guarantee a certain percentage to the women in the top management positions. Government of Punjab has already done it. We are in the process of introducing it. And I am sure it will go a long way towards economic empowerment of the women. You know, we have introduced at least a certain level of, not that 33 as a learned speaker has told you, but to the level of 17% in our national legislatures. Now we are revising and consolidating our national laws regarding election, and we are introducing, it is still proposal, but there is a consensus, so I can inform you 2 major things. One, if a certain percentage of women are not registered in a constituency, there will be lot of penalties. Therefore, women voters have to be gradually ensured that they are registered. And secondly, if a certain percentage of women do not come to vote, do not come doesn't mean that they don't come. They are not allowed to, it means, in other words. So the proposal is that that election should be declared null and void. So this will be a sort of positive or negative instruments to make sure that in those areas where we find many ways to stop women from election, to discourage them, because that man cannot be then member of the parliament. It's a very, very important disincentive for him. Lastly, let me assure you that we have almost signed, ratified all the international conventions relating to the women issues. And the recent edition which we have done is, few months back, is about the ratification of the Hague Convention on the civil aspects of child abduction. It's very, very important for the women. Our people go there in many countries, they fall in love on one pretext or the other, they marry, they have children, and then they abduct. A similar vice versa. So then it leads a lot of misery to the mothers. So we have now ratified this Hague Convention, and I think Pakistan is the second Muslim country after Turkey. And even many, many developed countries have not ratified this. Go and check the list. And second in the Muslim world. So very, very progressive step. Because the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif instructed us that you have to do away with all laws on whatsoever pretext they are in Pakistan which differentiate between men and women. To sum up, laws don't have all the panacea, but still they can work as a social engineering. So, being a lawman, therefore, I gave you a rundown on the legal situation. The total sum effect is, when I presented myself before a next Parliament committee few years back, 12 years back, on the first amendment in the honor killing draft, then Law Minister told me publicly that you want to legalize adultery. Now, the Law Minister, and I am Minister for State for Law, and the Prime Minister have so changed in Pakistan last 12 years that we are piloting these laws. This is the change. On the lighter side, in Pakistani culture, we say, "Aurton ki tarah bahane mat karo." Now it is totally reversed. I teach at Qaeda University, Islamabad. Almost in my class, there are 50-50 female and male students. All female students, they get better grades. They submit their assignments well in time, without any excuse. And the boys, they come up with many excuses. Sometimes they say there was no light. Sometimes they say, I was sick. And studious in studies. They get better grades in Pakistan, and now boys trail behind. It's common in Pakistan, in every household. This is the net result, but societies evolve gradually. As 200 years ago, women were burnt alive in the West. But now they champion, and rightly so, the rights of the women. We will also take time. We are evolving, and I can assure you the commitment of the present government, the commitment of the present political leadership, and the commitment that the Pakistan of today is better than the Pakistan of yesterday, and the Pakistan of tomorrow will be better than the Pakistan of today. Thank you. Pakistan Zindabad.